Hello, everybody. I'm Rand Northam, Interim Communications Manager.
And I'm Maurice Jones, the Town Manager for Chapel Hill.
Since we last talked with you about the Town Council, the Council has held 3 work sessions and 3 regular meetings. Of course, all of those still being held virtual right now. And as we kick off all of our meetings to recap what the Council has been discussing, we start off with our COVID-19 update. And Mr. Jones, in Orange County, statewide, the numbers continue to trend in the right direction. Of course, there's been a little bit of a plateau in recent weeks, as the governor has shared with us, and we've been learning from the Orange County Health Department. But thankfully, the number of vaccines are continuing to go up, and that's always a good thing as the numbers continue to go down as far as positive cases.
Well, yeah, Rand, I mean, we've been very fortunate here in Orange County, really throughout the pandemic. We had a couple of spikes here and there, but the folks in Orange County and Chapel Hill have done an excellent job of being responsive to this pandemic and doing the things that we needed to do in order to keep ourselves, our families, our friends, and our neighbors safe. And that continues today. We still have a number of folks throughout our region who are still doing everything they can to help protect themselves. They're wearing masks, they're social distancing, all the things that we still need to do in many cases to help keep people safe, especially if you're interacting with a lot of folks indoors. And yes, it's a good thing to see some of the loosening of some of the restrictions that were in place for the last few months and over the course of the last year. But we know we're not out of the woods just yet. We still need to be careful. As you mentioned, there are a significant number of vaccine opportunities now and doses that are available to folks. We have seen a drop in the number of people taking advantage of those vaccines, and we really do encourage folks to get their shot, to get their vaccination, so that we can all move even faster to getting back to normal here in Chapel Hill and Orange County. But as I said, folks have done an excellent job. We ask folks to continue to do everything they can to help protect themselves, and an important part of that is to go ahead and get their vaccinations and contact the Orange County Health Department if they have questions about it, or to go online and find out when they may be able to get their vaccinations. It is easier today than it's ever been.
And of course, if you have information or if you have questions about the Orange County Health Department or any of the state guidance as that's changing, we have that available on our website as well. Another topic that the council discussed was the climate action and response plan. Now, the council, we had talked about this previously, and the council has met on this a couple of times, but this was the formal adoption of this climate action and response plan. So now the council has approved this, and the town staff has already been working on it. There's a lot that was mentioned in that plan as to what has been done already, but now we look ahead to the years in the future and what the town hopes to do to address climate issues in our community and all throughout the country and the world.
Yeah, the town has been a leader in many ways on issues related to the environment for years now. And a couple of years ago, and having a discussion with the council, we said we'd like to be more strategic in our approach. And so we put aside $50,000 2 years ago to begin working on a climate action plan. John Richardson, our sustainability officer, has been leading that charge for us and working within our organization and with a ton of folks in the community as well to help build that plan. And council reviewed it, as you mentioned, several times, and then recently accepted it. So that's an important step in the right direction to have that adopted and the council stamp of approval for moving forward. Now comes the hard part, right, is actually being responsive to that plan to try to address these needs and to do it in a way that is effective and has an impact, but also understands that it's going to take some time for us to get there. It's a significant investment that we will make over time to try to address these issues, whether it's solar issues or EV charging stations or upgrading the grid for our buildings to help ensure that we're more energy efficient. All of that will take some time, and then also working with the community to implement the changes that we need to try to combat climate change. So one important step for that has been to get the plan adopted and now to start funding this plan. And right now we have in the manager's recommended budget about $500,000 for next fiscal year to take a really important next step in our efforts to reduce our carbon footprint and get our community and our organization to where we need to be to help improve our environmental conditions here in Chapel Hill.
And as you mentioned, there's a big portion of that plan has to do with community members and the things that they can do. So if you're interested in seeing that plan, you can see it outlined on our website and find out not only what the town is going to do, but what we can do to help you, help us, and all work together on improving climate action and working on that. The other big topic that was just discussed was the manager's recommended budget presenting to the council. Of course, this is not a 1 week process. This is something that you work on all year long and have been working on specifically for months now in this budget process. But the budget formally presented, the manager's recommended budget to the council here just recently.
Yeah, Rand, you're right. It takes a lot of effort on the part of our staff and the council and our community to develop a good budget. And so we feel very good about this budget that's being proposed. The total budget's about $117 million. That's a 5% increase from the current fiscal year that we're in. There's been a lot of discussion with the council about where we would set our tax rate after the revaluation that occurred in Orange County and Chapel Hill. And so we are proposing a property tax rate of 52.4 cents, which is 2 cents lower than our current tax rate of 54.4%, or 54.4 cents. And we think that will help us do a number of things and invest in some really important community priorities and council priorities. For instance, we mentioned the climate action plan, being responsive to that. This does provide a raise for our employees who've worked very hard during the course of the last year. Because of the pandemic, we did not offer a cost of living adjustment for our employees, but we are offering a 3% for next year. And as I mentioned, this allows us to invest in some of the council priorities, like a new diversity, equity, and inclusion officer for the organization. It also allows for us to move forward with providing some additional some additional funding for our human services agencies that we have here in our community. We're proposing a $100,000 increase to help them address community issues and concerns. And we've also put money aside in this to help be responsive to the recommendations that may come out of the Reimagining Community Safety Task Force and their work as well. So what we try to do is find a balance, understanding that the 52.4 cents is technically a lower tax rate than we have now, but still folks will see their taxes go up because of the reval. We're trying to balance that impact that property owners will see as a response to this with the needs that we have in our community. As I mentioned, some of the important investments that we're proposing to make, in addition to infrastructure and maintenance investments as well. So we're trying to find that right balance. There will be plenty of opportunities for folks to weigh in on this budget over the course of the next 5 to 6 weeks or so. And of course, we'll continue to have discussions with the council as well. And folks can find out more information about when those meetings will be held and the information that's being presented to the council at www.townofchapelhill.org/budget.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jones. Of course, this is just a few of the topics that have been discussed in, as I mentioned, the 6 meetings since you and I last discussed the council actions over the last few weeks. You can catch up on all that the council has done on our website, and we hope that you will. Until next time, we thank you for joining us. Stay safe out there, and as always, spread kindness, not illness, and thank you for watching.
Take care.